All right, hump day. Welcome to Frontline, 6 o'clock here on the East Coast. And because some breaking news tonight, FBI Director Kash Patel announcing the arrest of former managing assistant U.S. Attorney Carmen Lineberger with stealing confidential documents. Lineberger was part of Jack Smith's weaponized investigation into Trump, guys. We're going to have a ton on this with our legal panel coming up. Also, President Trump today addressing the graduating class at the U.S. Coast Guard Academy, praising the work of the guardsmen.
You're from the Coast Guard. There's nothing, absolutely nothing, that a Coast Guardsman cannot do.
And the Justice Department today announcing the indictment of former Cuban president and Fidel's baby brother, Raul Castro, and several others with conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals, marking the first time in nearly 70 years senior leadership of the Cuban regime has been charged in the U.S. for acts of violence. Raul better sleep with his eyes open if Venezuela means anything. But first, Trump bats 1,000 and the rhinos freak out. Let's do this. All right, I really don't know how many more sweeping primary wins Trump needs to have before the rhinos understand that this is not the old guard, business as usual Republican Party. This is Trump's party. So pass the Save America Act, John Thune, or you're probably going to be next. Trump batted 1,000 last night, 37-0.
I know how to win.
Are you worried about Sir?
Some of them don't know how to win. I know how to win.
Sir,
I think I've proven that, haven't I?
Look, I'll get to the highly contested and most expensive race with Massie being unseated in just a second. But I look at these polls where all the libs are screaming, oh, Trump's approval is in the toilet. Is it? Is it? And if it is, then please explain to me in crayon how last night Donald Trump unseated perhaps the most established rhino infrastructure in the country. Look, it may not be happening overnight, but Trump is disassembling the rhino class that took 50 to 60 years to establish, guys. He took out Jeb exclamation point in 2016. Then Liz Cheney made her lose her primary by 30 points to Harriet Hagman, who we love. And now he's ended Bill Cassidy, Tom Tillis, likely John Cornyn with his Paxton endorsement. I actually can't imagine Ken Paxton not winning his primary in Texas and the general election against the, oh God, is non-binary Democrat. Look, that guy has about a 0 chance in Texas. I don't care what poll you show me. There is no way Tallarico wins. But other rhinos, like Susan Collins, I don't understand why Trump endorsed Paxton. Really? Are you senile? This explains why nothing is getting done in the Senate and perfectly explains why Trump endorsed Paxton in the first place. Good luck in your race, Collins, against the guy who masturbates in porta-johns. That's Graham Platner. Those are his words, not mine, on a podcast. But also, maybe the biggest win of the night that no one is really talking about, crushing the Mitch McConnell machine. People do not understand how big a deal this is. Mitch McConnell, for 40 years, during 6 presidents, he blocked nominees, he killed legislation that Trump wanted, by the way. He was a major rhino player, basically running the Senate GOP since I was born. Trump saw that, and he saw that McConnell's protege, Daniel Cameron, who was the former AG of Kentucky, was likely to win that race and was going to play by the same game that Mitch played by, and obviously that Thune is playing by right now. Look, it's too early to primary Thune, so Trump was like, you know what, I'm going to send a message. He walked in on May 1st. He endorsed Andy Barr. Trump got Nate Morris, the other MAGA member of the primary, out of the race. And the guy who was, by all polls a month ago, favored to win, with all the money and all the establishment structure behind him, Trump makes one phone call and one endorsement, and Barr wins with 60%. Trump endorsed Paxton over Cornyn. The ousting of Bill Cassidy. If you recall, Cassidy voted to convict Trump in his impeachment. Tillis, obviously just chose not to run again. Yeah, okay, right. You're going to get trounced. That's why. And you want to know how angry the establishment is and how petty they are. They are not. The establishment is not pro-America, folks. They are petty. A senior Republican aide to one of these rhinos said, now he doesn't. This is, did probably, didn't want to be named, but he's not named. Now he doesn't have a governing majority. You push Tillis out. Lisa and Susan are independent. Cassidy has no effing reason to do anything now. Cornyn has no reason to prostrate himself, not to mention the other people who are just pissed off. He went on. If you think you're going to govern between now and the midterms, he's talking to Trump, that ain't effing happening. It's very, very short-sighted. Oh, really, pal? You're about to be unemployable in D.C. And Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski, she told reporters that Trump's endorsement complicates Republicans' ability to hold onto their majority. The endorsement of Paxton, obviously. Lady, I want no lectures from you. You're the only Republican to vote against the Save America Act in a test vote. That stuff is what's making it hard for us to hold on to the Senate, because you won't fix voter fraud. Your party, your rhino group of people are sitting on national reciprocity. It's been passed by the House. You in the Senate, you rhinos, are not doing anything. That is why Republicans could potentially lose the Senate, not because of Trump and his endorsement of Paxton. Are you kidding me? The quiet part, though, that nobody is saying out loud, Trump didn't just win the primaries last night. He erased the last remnants of any power in the Rhino Senate Republican caucus. A Texas House member also apparently doesn't understand how this game goes at this point, saying that the president will have a Cornyn problem on his hands if he endorses Paxton. Yeah, coming from the same rhinos that tried to impeach Paxton and failed, and now Ken's about to be your senator, by the way. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, pal. Same thing in Georgia. Been waiting for this one. Never forget Georgia. We didn't. The voters didn't. Well, remember in 2020 that pipe broke and then all kinds of cattywampus ensued? Then Trump told then Georgia Secretary of State Raffensperger to look into the election, and they refused. And then we come to find out years later that, and they actually had to admit it, that, oops, we verified 315,000 ballots without signatures. Oh, my bad. In a race that Trump only lost by 11,000. Yeah, well, Trump got his revenge last night because Raffensperger lost his bid for governor last night. Bye-bye, pal. Finishing third, not even making the runoff, but all three of Trump's endorsed folks in Georgia, Jim Kingston, Houston Gaines, who's going to join me in a second, and Clay Fuller, either won or are in runoffs. But now, let's get to the most expensive primary in the history of our country. Massie v. Gallrein. Look, folks, I've had Massie on this program. I largely stayed out of this race because I tend to think Trump has pretty good intuition. I mean, 37-0 is pretty good. So I generally agree with on most stuff. But also, Ed is a team guy. I don't know him personally, but the brotherhood's strong, so I wasn't about to go up against him. But I also like Massie's commitment to the Constitution. There were a lot of people on this fence. I didn't like it when he bucked with Trump, but especially on all the critical legislation. But he is the reason we got as much of the Epstein files as we did. Also, many forget that Charlie Kirk on many occasions called Thomas Massie his favorite congressman up to the day he was murdered. So this was a tough one for me, and clearly I wasn't alone on this. But there are some things that we have to proceed with caution on Ed Gallrein. If you recall, Ed left the Republican Party when Trump became the presumptive nominee in 2016 because he didn't like Trump. He literally resigned his Republican voter registration. He was an independent until Trump left office, and then Biden came back in, and then he re-registered as a Republican. So, look, he's the guy, and I'm behind him 100% now. I hope he's actually a Trump guy and not going to stab Trump in the back the second he takes office. Now, here's what we have to look at if we want to hold the House in the midterms. We got to look at the demos of this race. It's not just unique to Kentucky. This is a national thing. This was a poll from right before the election. Gallrein was polling on top for ages 65 and up, which are the highest propensity voters in non-general elections. Massie, though, was winning every age group, as you can see right there on your screen, below 65. Why? This is what we need to know going into the midterms. Why? I bring this up because elections are about math. It's about addition more than anything else. And we have to understand this. This can help drive out turnout for young Republicans in November if we nail this one, guys. But we have to pay attention to the reality here. Two issues: affordability of homes and foreign aid. People over 65 generally own most of their homes and are not trying to buy a new house. As you see, younger people got, the younger they got, the more they fell into Massie's camp because they own fewer homes. Massie voted against the big beautiful bill, despite its tax cuts, by the way, because he campaigned against spending. That's why he voted against it. This was his political death knell, obviously, but made him very popular with young people, but also foreign aid. Massie, and this is why I liked him, is against all foreign aid. I don't think we should give, personally, I also don't think we should give a penny to any country until the U.S. government spends enough money to stop 22 veterans a day from killing themselves, which I'm going to talk about on Memorial Day because I'll be here doing a monologue on it. But some powerful lobbies like AIPAC, let's be honest, didn't like that. And they pumped millions into this race to defeat Massie over that. Then congratulated Ed on his win after. People, young people in the Republican Party are increasingly America first, and many are America only. And before people freak out, nobody's anti-Israel. They're just pro-America. The Republican Party is going to have to figure out how to bridge this gap if they want young people to vote for them in November. This is a fact of the demos. And the Republican Party right now, this is not my opinion, folks. This is a mathematical fact. I just showed you the stats. But also, here's my other worry, that Massie runs as an independent in 2028. You can see they're chanting president to Massie. They were chanting it at his concession speech. If this is the case, he would essentially become the Bernie Sanders of the right. And if he did, he would garner enough votes from the Republicans. He's not going to win, but he's going to garner enough Republican votes to hand the win to Democrats. Look, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. Look, I'm just preparing, though, for all scenarios here. Massie voted against the big, beautiful bill, okay? He really doesn't care what anybody else thinks on how he votes, clearly. So would you put it past him to fire back against the party that cast him out? Look, I hope not. He did say he was going to have class, but it's a vulnerability we have to figure out and navigate right now because Ro Khanna is already trying to woo some of Massie's younger voters over to the Democrat Party.
Many young voters under 50 voted for him. He was winning them by over 30 points. And today I say you may not have a home in the Trump coalition, but there is a new generation of populist Democrats, and we welcome you.
So don't trust that crazy guy. He comes across as moderate. Sometimes he's nuts. But when I see tweets like this one, vote Democrat in the midterms, destroy MAGA from Libertarians for Massie. Stop that right now. This is moronic, okay? If you were truly a Massie fan, a libertarian, you would never vote for a Democrat ever as long as you live because Democrats are totalitarians. They will shove a leash up your rear end, surveil you, and force you to mask for the next fake flu outbreak for the rest of your life. So stop that right now. Look, if you ever voted for Massie, you have to vote Republican or the left. It's going to stack the Supreme Court, give statehood to Puerto Rico and D.C., and Republicans will never see the majority in the Senate again because you were bitter. Look, all around, it was a huge night for America and Trump. And I'm thrilled to see what's happening this Tuesday with Ken Paxton in Texas. Oh, by the way, we're going to have him on the night he probably wins his primary on Tuesday. But one of the big winners from last night, Trump back congressional candidate, Georgia's 10th district, Houston Gaines. Houston, what's it feel like to be a winner?
Feels good. It feels good. I mean, obviously, the president's support helped propel us to victory. It's the most important endorsement in politics. And we're just incredibly honored. Got almost 70% in a three-way race where got a couple $1 million spent against us. And we're just incredibly humbled and honored and excited about the opportunity to go to Congress. And what you're talking about is exactly right, particularly on young people. I'm 31. I'm excited that we're getting the next generation of young conservatives elected in Georgia. We're going to have 4 guys under the age of 40 in our Republican delegation. Wow. And that's what we got to do as Republicans. We got to get young guys going out there, telling our story, telling what we're doing on the America First agenda, because the left has capitalized that with AOC and Mamdani and those sort of people. We got to get our message out there to young people, because I think when they hear what we're selling, we're going to win these elections in November. Yeah, no,
I know you weren't running against Ratzensperger, but I mean, obviously a big shadow on Georgia right now was the 2020 election and the rift between Kemp and Trump and all those things. How much did that play a part in this election?
Well, obviously, Raffensperger came in a distant third, and he really didn't. even register in the polls. I mean, it was a race between the other two who came in first and second. And so I think voters have moved on and from Raffensperger, and certainly I'm excited that we're going to have a new Secretary of State come next year.
Yeah, well, Houston Gaines, I'm excited to have you, man.
Thank you so much.
All right. Coming up, Maine Democrat Senate candidate Graham Platner facing more. I mean, how much more could there be? After a vile comment targeting a wounded American soldier, and conservatives are asking, like me, how many more red flags do voters need to realize this guy is absolute trash? But first, the Southern Poverty Law Center in the hot seat on today's Capitol Hill. Republicans say the group was meant to fight hate, but was actually funding it, misleading donors, too, along the way. Legal panel going to sound off next.
Federal agencies urge every family to have an emergency radio. During any disaster, electrical power may get cut. The emergency radio gives you the vital information you need. Newsmax wants you to have the Dynamo Emergency Band Radio. It doesn't need batteries and works in any emergencies. It retails for $30. You can get it with the free offer. Call or go online and get the emergency radio today. Your life may depend on it.
Here's Chris Cunahan with the Leaf Filter Gutter Report.
From blizzards to downpours to windstorms or heat waves, no matter where you live, Leaf Filter keeps your gutters clog-free year-round. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 833-LEAF-FILTER or visit leaffilter.com.
Every day, bumps and bangs happen. Bruises are optional. Use daily dermatologist-recommended Dermend and reduce the appearance of bruises. Get Dermend Moisturizing Bruise Cream in the first aid aisle.
So Dale, you really need to get that colon cancer screening. Colon cancer screening.
Dad, it's been forever. I need to be in there. Wrap it up. Come on, Dad. It's taking forever.
How much longer?
It's been an hour. Are you done yet?
Dale, don't worry. We can do it with just a blood test. Shield.
Okay, let's do it.
Shield is for people 45 plus at average risk, not high risk for colon cancer. Ask your doctor about FDA-approved Shield from the company trusted in blood tests for cancer for over a decade.
We've been building chainsaws for over 100 years. Now, that century of cutting comes in a mower. New blade, same bloodline. Right now, save $50 on select mowers. Steel.
Remember when Rahm Emanuel said, never let a crisis go to waste? The SPLC took it a step further. They went one better. They said, we're going to create the crisis. We're going to manufacture the crisis.
The Southern Poverty Law Center found itself in the hot seat today, finally, and not by choice, obviously. The House Judiciary Committee looking into disgraced civil rights organization in a hearing titled Manufacturing Hate. Just last month, the DOJ charged the Southern Poverty Law Center with fraud after prosecutors said it secretly paid leaders of the KKK and other extremist groups millions of dollars for inside information, with donors believing that it would go towards fighting the hate, not funding it. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jordan says that the Biden DOJ knew that the group was doing this and even relied on them.
Yeah, the SPLC became part of the weaponized effort of the Garland, Biden, Justice Department against the American people. Now, here's what's interesting. The Biden DOJ knew all about it.
Turns out the experts on hate had friends in high places. Senior political legal analyst for the Daily Signal, Mehek Cooke, and attorney for Judicial Watch and author of the fantastic book, Defiant, Christina Bobb. All right, Mehek, I don't understand how it went on as long as it did, but at least Congress is trying to get to the bottom of it.
Well, Carl, you know why this happened. I mean, the Biden administration was complicit. The fact that you have Jim Jordan telling Americans today that the Biden administration actually shielded the SPLC when we knew that there was massive fraud, that Americans and groups were being targeted, and this money was being funneled to white supremacists and neo-Nazis is everything you need to know, that Biden was complicit, his DOJ and everybody else that continued to target Americans and they manufactured hate and they used donor money. The DOJ should be all over this in their lawsuit and make sure that we get accountability, our money back, and those individuals are jailed indefinitely. This is despicable.
Oh, no, 100%. But Christina, the Democrats are like somehow appalled by this. The DOJ indicted the senator because, of course, they think like, well, you know, Republicans are just racist and that's why they're looking into it. Roll this.
SPLC's been an enemy of the Klan and neo-Nazi groups for more than a half century. It's been unswerving and steadfast, which is why their offices were bombed and why they get an unending stream of violent death threats, something which makes this prosecution and persecution all the more appalling.
But Christina, we know they were doing this, so there haven't been a steadfast thing against racism.
No, you can tell how scared Democrats are by actions that Republicans take, by how aggressive they respond to it. And this cuts to the jugular of the Democrat political operation. Because yes, they're manufacturing hate. Yes, they're fundraising off of the crisis that they created in order to solve it. But it's also their political policies that they're creating. It's the platform that Democrats run on. And Southern Poverty Law Center is one nonprofit, but there are several that probably fall into a similar category. So I think they're nervous because they run a lot of their fear mongering through these nonprofits. And if it gets shut down, not just with Southern Poverty Law Center, but the others that they also run them through, their political structure is in jeopardy.
Yeah, but Mehek, of course the Democrats, I can't even go like another second without dragging Trump into it. I give you the brain trust of the left, Jayapal. Watch.
You want to argue that Trump's DOJ is trying to stop hate? Give me a break. Trump ran his campaigns and these administrations on stoking fear and racism against communities of color and promoting hate.
I'm sorry, does she have any examples of how Trump has promoted hate?
She really doesn't, but the receipts don't lie here, Carl. You look at the SPLC before the Unite the Right rally, they had 55 million. They tripled it after that rally. And we're going to continue to see, because again, bank records don't lie, the donors and the donations don't lie. All Democrats can continue to say is racism, but they're the party that continue to divide Americans today, that want graduations just for Black Americans, that want DE&I in schools, that continue to hide what's really happening. And I'm tired. We're not racist. We're embracing everybody in America. We just don't want fraud on our watch, and we don't want to be labeled as racist. But that's what Democrats is. It's their whole MO to continue to lie and deflect.
Christina, we mentioned earlier about the managing assistant U.S. attorney, Carmen Lineberger, who was indicted today for stealing classified documents. She was allegedly hiding her actions by emailing the documents to a personal email account. This is a woman who was working with Jack Smith, and now she's been indicted on this.
Fantastic. I mean, people who actually mishandle classified materials should be indicted and should go to prison, and then those that don't shouldn't. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to work. So it's a novel concept, but maybe she took emailing these documents to herself. She may have taken a note from John Bolton's MO, but thank God, they solved it. And I hope, truly, in the truest sense, I hope she gets what she deserves, right or wrong, whichever way it goes.
Yeah, no, I mean, bury her under the jail as far as I'm concerned. Too bad we couldn't get Jack Smith also, but Mehek, Christina, we appreciate it.
Thanks, Carl.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, President Trump says his administration will clean out the deep state, but the anti-Trump cretins are alive and well, and they're digging their heels in. My thoughts on this next.
Are you sitting at home living in pain? Maybe it's in your hands, maybe your back or your hips. The good news is you don't need to live in pain. Why? Because there is Omega XL, a one-of-a-kind, natural, powerful joint relief supplement created from the green lip mussels of New Zealand. Drug-free, non-habit forming. It's small, easy to swallow, and it's backed by more than 40 years of clinical research. If you're experiencing daily aches and pains due to aging and overuse, try Omega XL. Just ask anybody who uses it. The results are undeniable.
I had a lot of joint pain, and that slowed me down.
I had considerable pain in my back. really felt the pain. I mean, in my ankles and in my heels.
I'm telling you about something that's gonna change your life. It has revived me.
This works.
I'm not a prisoner anymore to my pain.
As I was getting older, my joints started to feel that wear and tear. But then I tried Omega XL, and it changed my life. Today I'm here at my ranch exercising some of my polo ponies. So as you get older, it gets tougher. I was starting to suffer some of that business, and then I ran into somebody who said, look, you should try Omega XL. And look what it's done. I feel better than I felt in the last 30 years. Omega XL gave me the ability to get back in the saddle. It works great. If you're in pain, I want you to know that there is real hope out there. I'm living proof. See the difference it can make in your life, just like it did in mine.
Call now or order online to receive our special TV offer. Buy 1 bottle of Omega XL and get a second free. Plus, we'll also include a free bottle of Vitamin XL D3. 2 free bottles for the price of 1 bottle of Omega XL. A total value of $115. You pay only $49.95 and it ships free. Plus, you get a money-back guarantee. Buy 1, get 2 free. Call or go online right now.
Hey, also, I just downloaded the Experian app because I wanted to check my FICO score, but it does so much more. This thing shows you your FICO score, you can get your credit card recommendations, and it shows you ways to save money.
Do so much more than get your FICO score. Download the Experian app now.
Hello, I'm Franklin Graham. The world seems to be upside down, doesn't it? The hatred, the violence, the division, the wars. What's the hope? What's the future? Where's God in all of this? Well, God is still on the throne, and he knows everything about you, and he loves you, he made you, he created you. But we have a problem, and that problem is called sin, and sin separates us from God. But God sent his Son from heaven to this earth to take your sins. He died and shed his blood on a cross for your sins. He was buried. But on the third day, God raised him to life. He's alive, and he'll come into your heart right now. That's right, Jesus is alive. If you've never trusted him as your Savior, do it right now. Just pray this prayer with me. Just say, God, I'm a sinner. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I believe that Jesus is your Son, and I want to trust him right now as my Savior and invite him to come in to be the Lord of my life. Amen. If you prayed that prayer, call that number right now. That's on the screen.
The deep state, while currently being dismantled by Trump, it is still actually, unfortunately, alive in the bureaucracy. There remains this undercurrent of this huge anti-Trump resistance among the ranks, particularly in the Justice Department, but it's pretty much everywhere. President Trump today addressed the rumored contingent that has remained a thorn in all of our sides.
Well, we're going to seek them out. We'll seek them out. We'll get rid of them. Okay? Because you have in every agency, you have scum. And certainly they did it in the FBI and DOJ. But Todd Blanche is doing a fantastic job. Cash is doing a very good job. So we will prevail. I've been standing here a long time with you, many years, right? And they've been saying, I think it's it. I think he's trouble. Okay? Here I am, you know.
As true, he's still standing there, and I hope he gets every last one of these people. They are the absolute. Sure, the FBI has been able to purge some problematic personnel, those who knelt down during the George Floyd riots in 2020. But this is like fighting an insurgency, folks. Like when we were in Iraq, someone could just drop their gun and blend right back into the people. That's what he's fighting here, and they're just undermining his agenda, and some of them without even being noticed because they just don't do anything. The same people who took part in January 6th by the hundreds and who have yet to come out and said, oh, you know what, we were with the FBI, it was wrong to do so, I'm sorry. The same people who knew of a secret burn bag room at the FBI headquarters that was left off the building's blueprints where the Russia hoax documents were stored, yet none of those people came forward and told Kash Patel as he entered that role where that was. The same agents who took a rubber-stamped FISA warrant and illegally used it to interview the National Security Advisor, Mike Flynn himself. They entrapped him, and then they charged him with lying to the FBI. All these people, or almost all these people, they're still there. You want to know how we know? Because the deep state's arrogant former leaders are out there telling us.
There's still a legion of professionals in the law enforcement environment, the Department of Justice, as well as the CIA and other places, the ones who are refusing to follow politically motivated prosecutions, those who are refusing to support any type of political activities on the part of the Trump administration.
I mean, Brennan means professionals as anybody who agrees with him. But Brennan's like not the only one. Comey. This guy's under investigation, okay? He's still active. First off, shut up when you're under investigation about anything. But he's actively engaging with the deep state minions despite being charged for threatening the president.
Do you still talk to employees at the FBI regularly?
I do.
And are they afraid to be talking to you?
Yes, as a matter of fact. They're under siege. And I think about them a lot. I worry about them a lot. Both those who are still there and those who've been thrown out.
Oh, could you imagine being his lawyer? Like they were like, dude, stop talking, stop. But hey, I'm here for it. Comey, keep running your mouth. They're still there, though. All these deep staters, they're still there. And he's talking to them. And despite his hatred for Trump, is Comey like telling his bureau buddies, like, oh, leave the deep state? No, actually, he's doing the opposite of that.
But I have great confidence in the people down below who are just trying to hang on. And I'm urging them, hang on. 2.5 years, and then we can rebuild these institutions. But we need good people in those roles. America does.
Hang on for what? Like, your job is to obey the orders of the President of the United States, enforce the law. And what America needs is what we voted for. To have honest, apolitical Department of Justice, not one throwing obstacles around what they think is better, is not right. We didn't vote for them. They're subverting and trying to overthrow a duly elected president. The people who worked under Brennan and Comey, guys who coordinated with Barack Obama, by the way, once he left office, to launch the Trump-Russia hoax after Trump wrecked Hillary in 2016. Those people are the same ones who knew that the FBI, those two lovebirds, Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, having an affair, they had an insurance policy to stop Trump from becoming president. Are you kidding me? That should be treason. Or the FBI raid of Roger Stone's home in Florida, which CNN coincidentally just happened to know about. Most fortunate scoop ever. Like, who from the Bureau told them about that? They'd probably still have their job or pension if they left. And is it a surprise that the agents who conducted the raid on Mar-a-Lago and who were authorized deadly force on the former president of the United States if needed, were led by the Bureau's D.C. office? How many of them still remain or have pensions? Better yet, how many Democrat senators urge them to refuse to obey unlawful orders, right, Mark Kelly? So yes, the deep state remains highly problematic, and I am glad that President Trump and Kash Patel, and now, I was sour on acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, but he's actually impressing me, which is great, and I'm glad they're trying to clean it up. Now, what I'm even more excited about is what we are still waiting on, like the investigation into the 2020 election abnormalities. The White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles teased this out not too long ago.
He wanted to know why he won Florida, but maybe struggled in some other states that I think we're going to find out he actually did win.
Oh, Blanche this weekend, though, he doubled down on that, hinting that we're getting close to learning more, saying that, quote, what I can tell you is that we have multiple investigations going on in Arizona, Georgia, and Fulton County, Georgia, obviously. They're very good at hiding up misconduct and hiding what they're doing, so that's why we're very focused on finding out whether the right people voted, whether the people who were supposed to vote voted, whether there was one vote cast per voter. He went on to say, I assure the American people that as soon as we have something to say for it, whether it's charges, whether it's a report, whether it's the results of an investigation, the American people will learn about what we have uncovered. Was this what the president was referring to today when he said this?
Todd Blanche has really been doing a great job, and a lot of things to come. We have a lot of things that are coming right now. It's going to be great.
Look, folks, it's time to gut the deep state. And this is only going to be done by exposing these cretins for what they are. Shine a light on them and, let them try to scatter. But then and only then we'll be able to actually truly realize that Trump can get his job done, his agenda done. But also, we have to take notes of the people not doing anything, ignoring orders and literally doing nothing, because that might be the biggest hindrance of them all. Coming up, as soon as the Supreme Court rules against Democrats, they're starting screaming a threat to democracy and Jim Crow 2.0, whatever the stupid things they say, now demanding black students boycott their own schools. I mean, great work, guys, all around. Culture Clash next.
You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmidt tonight on Newsmax.
Doctors say having a medical emergency kit is like having an urgent care and pharmacy at home. Let me bring in Dr. McCullough to explain more.
Most people know when they're getting sick, but waiting to see a doctor is often too late.
So the key is having medicines before you need them.
Yes, and it includes doctor-prescribed medicines to treat common and serious issues like generic Z-Pak, amoxicillin, antibiotics, antivirals for flu, pneumonia, strep, ear and sinus infections, UTIs, and more.
So it is like having an urgent care at home.
Exactly. No waiting, no pharmacy, no copays. You feel better faster and avoid serious complications and hospitalizations.
How do you know what to take?
Just match your symptoms to the doctor-written guide or schedule a quick telehealth call.
Great advice. I understand ordering is fast online, and we've put the website and $45 off code on the screen. Thank you, doctor.
Visit urgentcarekit.com/news, promo code news.
Attention! Do you owe money to the IRS? If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this message because new Trump-era tax policy changes are providing relief to the American taxpayer. IRS policy changes in 2025 and 2026 have created new ways to resolve debt. Tax Relief Helpers knows exactly how to navigate them and could help you save thousands. Just call 800-280-3571 to protect your assets, home, and retirement.
I owed $87,000 in taxes. Tax Relief Helpers got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
I got behind on my taxes and I owed $48,000. I called, and after they told me about the changes at the IRS, they got my bill fully removed.
We save Americans millions of dollars in tax debt every year, and we can help you. Call right now to take advantage of the latest Trump-era tax deductions to protect your assets, home, and retirement from the IRS. The call and consults are absolutely free. Call 800-280-3571. That's 800-280-3571.
250 years ago, a nation was forged by grit, by courage, by freedom. Today, we raise a glass to that same spirit. 4547 Straight Bourbon Whiskey, the 250th Anniversary Edition. Bold, independent, unmistakably American. Toast to independence this year. Built by patriots, for patriots. Order yours today.
If you still have bad breath by lunchtime, your mouthwash isn't working. Smart Mouth is the only mouthwash that prevents bad breath for 24 hours. This is the only mouthwash I recommend. Upgrade your mouthwash to Smart Mouth today and never have bad breath again.
These days, supporting the right causes matters more than ever. That's why I chose Patriot Mobile. They're not just a great mobile service provider, they're all about giving back. Every bill helps support causes we believe in: family, faith, and freedom. You get great nationwide coverage on all three main networks. Even better, you're doing it with an American company that stands up for us. It's time to make the switch, y'all. Let's support a wireless company that's got our back. Go to patriotmobile.com and make the switch today.
These guys, the NAACP, once again asking black athletes to hold themselves down, to use their sports career as political leverage and put their own interest aside to advance the organization's radical left-wing political agenda. And this time, their eyes are on college football, calling on black athletes to boycott the SEC and ACC schools. Now, even Hakeem Jeffries is joining this craziness.
We are here standing in solidarity with the NAACP and its call for athletes to boycott institutions within the SEC that belong to states that have unleashed these Jim Crow-like racially oppressive tactics.
This just shows he doesn't care about these kids at all. It's all politics. It's all stupid game. Look, I might not be into sports ball, but one thing for sure that even I know, my dad's like the most diehard Michigan fan in the world, don't mess with college football. host of podcast Scrolling with Hayley Caronia, and comedian Tyler Fischer. I mean, Tyler, you gonna mess with college football, really?
I mean, you can't do that. And first of all, I'm a small guy, so my sport options are jockey or just T-ball forever. So
Fencing.
I'm still playing T-ball. No, these college kids, they're getting laid. They're getting treated like celebrities. They don't care about voting.
Right.
They don't care about voting. You should just have women pretend to be men, have them play. It'd be over in a week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know what? Flood the zone, Hayley. Flood the zone with all the trannies you want. But I mean, like, this is even more corruption from Democrats, though. They're done caring about kids. A new report revealing that a major transportation union is representing nearly 230,000 transit workers. Now, allegedly has spent over $35 million on Democrat-aligned political activity while pouring millions into casinos and resorts and theme parks and travel entertainment. An example of why we should get rid of unions, but they're funding the same people that are telling our kids to sit out of college sports.
Well, of course. And yes, to your point about the college sports, that's the most unpopular thing you could possibly say. So this is Operation Just Let the Democrats Talk, because if you tell people to not watch college sports, this might work in our favor. But yes, on the unions, I mean, this is par for the course for Democrats. Raise a bunch of money, blow it on stuff that doesn't matter, all while you tell your voting base about freebies that will never come. And this is exactly why Democrats are always endorsed by big unions. And this is why Democrats, of course, were always incensed by the Department of Government Efficiency. They're not sorry that they got caught. Well, they're not sorry. They're just sorry that they get caught.
Yeah, no, 100%. Tyler, this is one of my favorite games, the FAFO game, when the hand of reality just comes down and smacks liberalism right in the face. New York City Mayor Mamdani, okay, he screamed, remember the tax the rich thing, and he went and tapped on the camera. Now he's crawling back to these billionaires saying, oh, please don't leave my city. I'm going to lose all the jobs. We can work out maybe even tax breaks. Tyler?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I just got some leaked transcripts, actually, of Mamdani's opening statement to the billionaires. Death to America. That was his opening statement. I mean, these guys are gone. They're gone. I left.
Yeah.
I'm not even rich. I got $500. I'm getting the hell out of here. You know, I can hire homeless people to piss in my front yard.
Yeah, well, but the other thing too is like he would have taken 250 of your $500. But Hayley, like what he doesn't understand is like basic mathing. So like 1% in New York make 21% of the income, yet they pay almost 40% of the taxes. You can see that line, the 25% mark. You're talking the top 10% pay almost 75% of the taxes, and he's demonizing those people?
Well, right. This is that you're exposing the lie right here. This is just Democrat talking points that, you know, Pocahontas likes to squawk about and Bernie Sanders likes to squawk about. You know, Democrats, and they always say that billionaires need to pay their fair share as if they're not already doing that. What they want is billionaires to just fund the lives of the lazy people who live in New York City who would never work as hard as they do.
Ever. But even Jeff Bezos, I mean, like this is a guy who's he's not on the right. He's calling out New York City's out of control spending with these no results. Watch this.
If we ran Amazon the way New York City runs their school system, right, your packages would take 6 weeks to arrive. We'd have to charge you a $100 delivery fee. And then when the package did finally arrive, it'd have the wrong item in it anyway. Right.
I mean, in between sending Katy Perry to space in a phallical rocket, he did make some sense there. Tyler?
I thought that was a clip from Star Trek. I mean, he's really, that guy's really going deep in the space thing. I feel bad for kids in school in New York City altogether. They should change the whole curriculum, a class on how to not get thrown into the subway, how to avoid feminists, how to avoid homeless people. I think we should exchange every feminist for a billionaire. That's what I think we should do. That we should send the feminists to the front line of the draft. They hate men. They got the shaved heads. They can throw cats at the North Koreans, and then we get a billionaire back.
Feminists for the 38th parallel. Tyler, that'll be your campaign slogan. Hayley, Tyler, we appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, Maine Democrat Senate candidate Graham Platner learning the hard way that the internet is pretty much forever. His resurfaced Reddit's post. I'm going to show you exactly who this guy is. I cannot wait for him to lose. Next.
My friends, I come to you today on behalf of the Jewish people in Ukraine whose lives have been completely destroyed. Family and loved ones brutally killed. The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews is inside of Ukraine, providing emergency food and supplies to tens of thousands of people. But the food crisis is growing for Jewish families and especially for the elderly.
I am shocked how many elderly people came here. They're afraid, and they realize now that there are more people than boxes.
For just $25, you can help rush an emergency food box to the elderly Jews in Ukraine. Many of them are hungry, frightened, and alone. Your gift helps provide critical food when it's needed most. Call or go online now.
The people of Ukraine are caught in the crosshairs of war. Many of these precious people are Holocaust survivors, elderly Jews who are sick and dying. They have no food, and we must reach them now before it's too late.
The world is in a war again. I am alone. I'm afraid of the bombs. I'm scared. I am old. There is no food.
Just $25 helps rush emergency food to elderly Jews in Ukraine who are in urgent need today. Please call, scan, or go online right now.
I will not starve. Thank you, good people.
We can be the hope to the Jewish people who are suffering in Ukraine. Your help is desperately needed now.
Have you ever thought of getting a walk-in tub for you or someone you love? Now is a great time to take a look at getting a Safe Step walk-in tub.
With Safe Step's standard heated seat and new fast fill faucet, you can enjoy a nice warm bath up to 20% faster. And the convenient touchpad control is right at your fingertips.
Each tub comes standard with a dual hydrotherapy system. The 10 water jets can help increase mobility, relieve pain, boost energy, and improve sleep, while the MicroSoothe advanced air therapy system oxygenates and softens skin.
Safe Step walk-in tubs are built to maximize safety so you can stay in your home and enjoy the comforts of bathing again.
So call now for more information and a free no-obligation consultation.
When you call today, you'll also receive our limited time offer. Don't wait to enjoy safer bathing. Call 1-800-296-0431.
All right, in case you needed any more evidence of why Graham Platner is an absolute piece of junk and cannot win the Senate seat, here's a clip from him in 2024 smearing the late American sniper Chris Kyle.
His stories about how many people he was shooting certainly tracked with the behavior of eyewitness. It's relatively easy to get high numbers like that if you're a little less discriminating. You're fire than, say, a more professional unit would be. I almost felt like there was like a weird practical joke being played on me by the war. Oh, look how great this guy is. These guys are amazing heroes. This whole incredible thing, the paragon of leadership. And I'm just sitting there like, am I living in like an alternate reality?
Oh, Graham, I didn't realize you were there, right? Oh, no, you weren't. And you're just an ass. I was actually there with him, and we didn't do that stuff. But this isn't the first time he's dissed a veteran, like when he mocked a soldier who was shot by the Taliban in 2012. It's shown up on his resurfaced, now deleted Reddit post under his name P. Hustle, because the internet's forever. He wrote, quote, "This video never gets old, dumb mother effer, didn't deserve to live." Talking about an American soldier. At least his stupidity and fat wheezing are available for all future infantrymen to witness and hold in contempt. Poor marksmanship on the Taliban's part is the only reason his mouth breather made it home. He managed to make every possible blank decision possible when it comes to small unit combat. And after all that, he just got endorsed by one of the biggest Democrat veterans groups called Vote Vets. Oh, just so you know, Vote Vets is the same group that came after me when I said that some veterans fake PTSD to get their disability benefits, which is true because they're doing an investigation on it right now. It's unbelievable. Alexandra Bougher, chair of the New Jersey Moms for Liberty, and Ike Wingate, host of Ike Wingate America. Alexandra, I look at this and I'm ready to blow gas.
Disgusted, right? I'm absolutely disgusted. Well, number one, we teach our children that anything that goes online is there forever. So maybe think twice about, saying something or doing something really stupid. Yep. And the fact that you would, say these disgraceful things about an American hero, even people that maybe disagreed with those things would never go as far as making the comments that this person has said. I think it's absolutely disgusting. He sounds like a little child, a jealous child who couldn't get into the elite force, and that's why he wasn't there, and he had no idea what's going on.
Yeah, that's probably just why he got the Nazi tattoo, too. But, Ike, the Reddit post got even weirder, okay? And folks, I apologize for this. If you have kids, plug your ears. But he boasted about masturbating in Porta-Johns. In a post of 2017, he wrote, "I still have to jay off, and every time I'm in a he called it a porta pooper, the blue water smell conditioned me." I'm sorry, that's not the stability I want on, like, the Armed Forces Committee.
Thank God for the Internet Wayback Machine. Otherwise, we never know about Porta Potty Platner's escapades. This dude was also writing, like, novel-like text about phallic symbols that were spray painted in the porta potty. I mean, I've heard of weird fetishes before, but this one takes the cake, and this guy is, I don't know any other word to say, but he's trash.
Yeah, but he's an oyster farmer, so...
Oyster Führer.
Yeah, exactly. Let's not forget, though, like I mentioned, the Nazi I mean, like, you have a ton of tattoos. Any of those, none of those Nazi tattoos?
No, none of them are. And I definitely know what each one means.
Whoa. Whoa.
I didn't get something and pretend that I don't know what it means. This doesn't surprise me. Unfortunately, the left also thinks that boys belong in girls' bathrooms and on their sport teams. So the fact that he would do something like masturbate in a bathroom does not surprise me. And we definitely don't need him in charge of anything.
Yeah, but I mean, he's apparently though he's no longer bothered by people trolling him over the Nazi tattoo. Watch this real quick.
Now it seems like it's being weaponized in a way that's not even trying to have a discussion about it.
Oh, no, of course not.
And what I wonder is like, I know you don't look at Twitter, but you know that's going on out there. Like, they're going to try to annoy you and get under your skin to get you to respond angrily, right? And like, I just wonder, like, does it bother you at all, for real?
I mean, literally not in the slightest.
On the grand scale of all the things this guy has to be ashamed of, I kind of understand how this is lower on his list. When you've been fantasizing about body parts, male body parts that are spray painted on the side of a porta potty, like, this is probably lower on your list, but he equates this tattoo to like a bad haircut. This isn't a bad haircut. This was literally on your body for 18 years. And it doesn't matter that you played hide the swastika to cover it up. This guy, once a Nazi, always a Nazi. That's what I say.
I agree with you. Yeah.
No, but then you've got guys like Tom Steyer, who is the billionaire leading the Democrat candidate for governor right now in California. So he pours a bunch of money into his own campaign to pay people to make a video, but I think it was for an endorsement. He's like, oh, no, I never paid him for endorsements.
I mean, I think the big problem here is it's okay to pay for someone, but you have to say that. You can't say it's grassroots, right? And then say, oh, yeah, no, we didn't pay them. I think that's the biggest problem is people are like, stop lying to us. Yeah. Where is the transparency?
But also, I remember Alvin Bragg charging Trump with 34 felony counts, trying to put him in jail for 700 years for an accounting error. What the hell is this? Anyway, Alex, Ike, we appreciate it.
Thanks. Yeah.
All right, before we go, the absurd way developers are forcing their water wasting facilities, otherwise known as data centers, into rural farming suburban communities against their will. I'm not letting this one go. Next.
Closed captioning by America Tax Group. Stop IRS and state collections. Free consultation. Call now.
America Tax Group is the nation's leading tax firm that has helped millions of taxpayers resolve penalties, remove liens, and stop wage garnishments. If you're dealing with IRS or state tax issues, don't wait. Call now.
This Memorial Day, we honor the brave who stood watch over our nation's security. At PCmatic, we're proud to continue that legacy by protecting your digital world. From American homes and local businesses to our nation's government agencies, we provide the only cybersecurity that's 100% researched, developed, and supported right here in the USA. PCmatic, American made, American strong. Visit PCmatic.com today.
I'm Yalmer Heinrich. I'm in the nutritional business, primarily selling plant-derived minerals. Now, after being in this business for 43 years, owning a cancer hospital in Mexico, And associating with some of the most knowledgeable nutritional people in the world, I came to this conclusion. The world is sick due to a lack of minerals in our food, which is caused by a lack of minerals in topsoil. There is an incredible and proven nutritional product on the market that can overcome this problem. It's Immuno 150. This unusual food supplement contains 70 plant-derived minerals and 80 additional nutrients. There's nothing like it. Now watch the 3 videos on our website and place your order for what may be the best food supplement in the world. Now Immuno 150 is different, it's real, it's powerful, it's helped thousands, and we believe it enjoys the highest reorder rate in the industry. Thank you and God bless.
It's 2 a.m., your fever spiked and you're miserable. Here's your options.
Urgent care, closed. ER, slammed, and you'll spend hundreds of thousands in both. Telehealth, yeah, but the pharmacies are closed.
That's the reason why we keep emergency medical kits at home.
It has doctor-prescribed medication like generic Z-Pak, amoxicillin, other antibiotics and antivirals. You can treat flu, pneumonia, strep, sinus infections, UTIs, and more.
Because if you're sick in at night, traveling or stranded, you don't want options.
You want what is inside this kit. No waiting, no pharmacy, and no copays.
Just schedule a quick telehealth call.
And that's how you feel better faster and avoid serious complications.
Every family should have this kit, and here's how to order yours.
Order online in minutes and use the promo code to save $45. Your doctor-prescribed kit ships fast to your door, packed with medications to treat over 30 conditions. So when something hits, you're ready. And a wellness company telehealth doctor is always there if you need guidance.
You can join the Tunnel to Towers mission to do good by donating your car to today's veterans. Your car donation will help Gold Star families, as well as injured veterans, our first responders, and our homeless veterans. Donating your car is quick and simple. Any car is accepted, and we will pick up the car for free. Simply call 844-BRAVES.
By donating your car, you can make a real difference. You can do good.
The first time I experienced vertigo, the room was spinning, like I was in a clothes dryer. Then I started taking LipoBalance support. Its ingredients are clinically shown to help reduce dizziness and spinning. Take back control with lipoflavonoid. The first day back from maternity leave is so weird. We get it. Find a caregiver who does too. When it's not you, it's care.com.
All right, so we talked about this the other day about these data centers popping up in people's backyards. This is an issue I'm not letting go despite heavy bipartisan opposition. We now know exactly how they're still being authorized in some of these small towns. These billion-dollar developers, they're now suing small towns. The towns are coming in and saying, hey, we're going to vote down your use authorization for the land that you bought for this giant thing, because they own the land. Saline Township, Michigan, just settled a lawsuit related to a digital thing who has accused the township of unfairly limiting what property owners can and can't build on their land. Right. The craziest part is this lawsuit came just 2 days after the town's board voted 4-1 against rezoning the 575-acre farmland for a 21 million square foot data center project. So let me get this straight. Townspeople agree they don't want this land rezoned into essentially a digital city, and obviously their water sucked dry. They get their elected officials to agree and then vote against it, but then the company decides to sue a town. 1,400 people in this town, 2,000 people in this town, whatever. They only have $1 million budget, so the town can't fight the lawsuit, so they just settle and they let them do whatever they want. This is an example, Rob, of the little guy getting screwed.
That is a bad example.
Yeah.
That's a rough story. You're seeing a lot of that
and
right
it's
now,
happened
though.
everywhere.
Yeah, it is. All right, Carl, good to see you. Thanks so much.
Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.